For this extra experiment, all you need is a little cup of water, something like this, something that's see-through, so it needs to be something that's clear, and a tiny bit of milk. You can see in the bottom of my cup, it's not very much milk at all, just a tiny little drop of milk, which I've put in the bottom of that cup, and some kind of white torch. Now, a lot of grown-ups will have a torch on their mobile phone, so it might be that you can ask them if you can borrow it, or you might have your own white torch, but it does need to be white for this experiment. So we're going to be talking about why the sky is blue. It's a bit strange really, because the sun is actually white, so it gives off a bright white light, like a white torch. But when we look up at the sky, we see the sun looking kind of orange and the sky looking really blue. Well, it's all to do with the rainbow. Some of you may already know that white light actually has trapped inside it all the colours of the rainbow. So from red all the way through to violet. Now when the sun shines through the clouds and through dust particles in the air, it splits up slightly. Not as much as when we have an actual rainbow. That's when the light splits into all the different colours of the rainbow. When it shines through the sky, it just splits up a little bit and the blue light gets scattered. So that basically means the blue light spreads out across the whole sky, whereas the red, orange and yellow colours of light tend to stay near the sun, which is why we end up seeing the sun as kind of orange and the sky as kind of blue. It's basically a white light, and the reds and oranges stay by the sun, and the blue light and the indigo and the violet scatter out across the sky. We're going to do an experiment to help you to see that a bit more clearly. So, I've got my water and I've got my milk, and I'm going to mix them together. The milk is just going to be the dust and the clouds and the things that are up in the sky. Perfect. You hardly need any milk at all. It's just enough to make it go slightly cloudy. Hopefully you can see it. It's a bit difficult to see on this camera, but you can see that my water isn't very clear anymore. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my torch. So I'm going to use one on a mobile phone just to show you how that would work. So I'm going to turn the torch on this mobile phone, and I'm going to shine it from up above. We're pretending that the torch is the sun. So if we look at this, it's bright white because the sun is actually a bright white light, even though it looks orangey yellow to us. If I hold it above my sky like this, it'll be difficult for you to see in the video. In fact, I don't think you can see it properly. But in your version, if you look from the side, so if you can see what I'm doing, I'm looking through the side of my glass and it looks really, really blue at the top, okay? You can't see it on the video because it's difficult to pick up. But what's happening is just like in the real sky, the light is scattering out across that clouds, which is really milk, scattering out across the clouds, and it's making it look slightly blue. And that's like what happens in the sky. You can also see what happens at sunset. If I move this down to the other side, and then you look at it from that side, again, you can't see it on the video, I'll turn it around to show myself. I'm looking at it from the side, now it all looks orange. And that's because the blue light is being scattered away and the orange is coming through our pretend sky. That will make a lot more sense if you give it a go yourself. So remember, all you need is the tiniest amount of milk, a little bit of water and a bright white light. And then remember, the milk is like the clouds, the light is like the sun shining up above, and the water is like the air. And hopefully you'll be able to see the bright light slightly scatters when it hits the milk and it looks slightly blue. It won't be a bright blue because we don't have the whole of the sky, but it hopefully will be slightly blue and help to answer the question a little bit of why the sky is blue. That's a fairly complicated science, so don't worry too much if it doesn't completely make sense. If you want to research it a little bit more, you could read a little bit more about it and find out exactly why the sky is blue.